Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make are Italian anise. Well, you can call them cookies, but we actually call them toast. You can use, if you don't want to use anise extract, you don't like that flavor, you can go ahead and use almond or vanilla, or whatever your choice might be. But I'm using anise. Traditional anise is that to make these Italian toasts, and they're really like a biscotti, meaning a cookie as well. So let's get started. First, you want to start off with 6 eggs. I've had them at room temperature, and I'm going to just start beating them all together. I prefer to use a stand-up mixer for this recipe than a hand mixer, but that's going to be up to you, because the dough can get a little heavy, so it's much easier on a stand-up. Okay, now once you get those eggs beaten really well, and you want them nice and fluffy, pale yellow. I'm moving it along due to the video. The next thing that you're going to put in is 1 cup of granulated sugar. And I'm going to beat that together. And again, you really want it to combine very well and beat well together. All right, the next thing we're going to be putting in is a cup of oil. Now you decide what type of oil that you prefer. I know some people make these with olive oil, vegetable oil, canola. It's really going to be up to you what you prefer, the type of oil that you want to use. And we'll beat that together. Okay, the next thing we're going to put in is anise extract, and I'm going to put 1½ tablespoons of it. And again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you don't like anise, go ahead and use vanilla or almond or whatever type of extract that you want to put in these toasts. We'll beat that in. Okay, and the last 2 ingredients you're going to be putting in is 6 teaspoons, and yes, I did say 6 teaspoons of baking powder and 4½ cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm going to put a little flour in to get started here. Okay. And start beating that in. And then I'm going to put my baking powder in. Put a little bit more flour in there. Okay. And now I'm going to put the rest of all the baking powder in. And just start beating that in. To just put it in gradually as it needs it. Now you will find this dough a little bit difficult to work with because it tends to be, I think, more of like a batter than say a cookie dough would be. And now I'm just going to get my paddle off here and take my excess off my paddle. And I'm going to grab some flour because I forgot to put it out. So I'm going to quickly grab some flour, all-purpose flour. And then I'm just going to sprinkle it on my countertop here. And I'm going to lift this out. All right, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is combined all the way on the sides and the bottom. And then I'm going to take this out onto my countertop. Okay. It has a little bit of weight to it, so you're going to feel that in your arms and hands when you're lifting it away. And I'm just going to take the excess off with my knife here. All right, and I want to get that all out of there. Don't want to waste any. Okay, and we'll get rid of that. And this is where I like to put some extra flour on it. But again, I don't want to use too much flour either. But I want it that at least I can handle it. Okay. Now, what I like to do is once I just form a big log out of it, then I like to cut it. Doesn't have to be, perfect. All right, let me get a little flour on the top here. And I cut it into 4 pieces, basically. Is what I do. Okay, so that's 2. And there we go. We got 3. And we've got 4. Okay, so I divided into 4 equal pieces, the best that I can. Okay. All right. And let's see, just a little bit more flour. Okay. Then on your pan, I lightly spray mine, but if you want to go ahead and use parchment paper, I just actually take this like this. I put it on my baking pan, and then I start to form it into sort of a log, and I make them about 12 inches long. And I don't have my tape measure handy, but I would think that's about maybe 3.5 inches across, if you want to know exact. And I form them on my tray like that. And I use 2 trays, of course, okay? And I alternate them as they're baking. Now, you're going to put these in once you get them on your trays, and you'll get 4 of these logs out of this recipe. You're going to put them in at 350 degrees, and they're going to take anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes to bake up, okay? Now, let me rinse my hands real quick. Now, we call these toasts, really, they're twice baked, just like a biscotti is twice baked. So, once they come out of the oven in about 20 or 25 minutes, and that was 350 degrees, they will come out and look like this. I wanted you to see them look like once it comes out. It's a nice golden brown on the bottom, okay? It's quite pale on the top. Now, once they cool down a little bit, what you'll want to do is just take a knife and go ahead and about 1/2 inch width slices, cut them diagonally, or you can cut them differently if you want, but diagonally is how I do mine, okay? And go all the way through, okay, like that. like that. Then once you cut them, then lay them on their side like that. Okay. And you're going to put them back in the oven again. Now you're going to put them back in, and they're going to take anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. What I like to do is I divide the time in half. So in other words, I go 6 minutes on one side, then I pull them out of the oven, I turn them again over and go for another 6 minutes, because you want them to look like toast, like bread that you toast in a toaster. So you do want to make sure that both sides have that nice golden brown toasted look. So again, they are twice baked. All right, now the next thing I want to show you the finished product of once they come out of the oven. You again, to repeat, that was another 12 to 15 minutes to twice bake them for the second bake, and this is how they'll turn out. They are going to have a nice brown, golden brown to them, just like a piece of toast from a toaster, and that's why they are called anise toast, Italian anise toast. Now this particular cookie is, I would call more of an adult cookie. They are great with a glass of milk, a cup of coffee, a cup of hot tea, or actually a cup of cappuccino. Now when you break into them, they are going to be extremely crisp, and they are going to be a dry cookie. All right, and that is the way that they are supposed to come out. But they are absolutely delicious. They're very light in texture. Even though it has a lot of eggs, they're not real heavy when you eat them. And they just taste delicious. I hope you try this recipe. If you do and you like it, we'll leave a comment, because I always like to hear from you. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.